wine.
I haven't had wine all day, so I'm super excited about this. Thank you, Siwela, for joining me. I am so excited to have you in my in-home studio.
It's a beautiful studio. I love it.
Thank you. So I'm actually opening up your wine because we're going to drink it, and I love to drink while I work. That's the best thing about being in this business, right? And so this wine here is Siwela, and this is the Red Blend 2017. And while I open it, can you just tell us a little bit about like who you are, what you're doing? Like, I was so amazed and happy when I met you, and I was like, I gotta get her on the podcast. You're a woman, and you're black, and you live in Africa, and you make wine. Like, it's like every single thing that I love in the world. So, yeah, can you just explain to us like how you got started in the wine industry?
Okay, so I'll start by just giving a brief overview of who I am. So basically, I'm a 28-year-old, and I started the wine. Well, the journey started when I did my biotechnology qualification, and I majored in microbiology, fermentation, and bioprocessing.
That sounds so intense. I love it. And she's what? Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the interest developed, and that's where I got to learn and understand the basics of winemaking. But overall, I was not born understanding wine. Where I come from, I did not even know about wine, because it's like back in the rural areas, you would not even know what wine is.
So in the rural area, which like the Eastern Cape?
It's in Limpopo.
Okay. Limpopo.
Yeah.
I've heard of Limpopo.
Yeah, up there in the north, it's very hot. And apparently we can't make wine in Limpopo. But I'm yet to discover that, because I'm going to have my own grapes grown in Limpopo.
Okay, she's determined. She is determined. Like, don't take no for an answer, right?
Definitely.
I mean, there's an area in California called Temecula, and they grow wine there, and it's very hot. I mean, there's some areas that are kind of cool because they have like this wind that comes off the mountains, but they grow grapes in a very hot region. It's the desert, so like anything is possible if you put your mind to it, right?
I mean, probably it might not be the same as Stellenbosch wine, but it might be a different kind of wine.
It might be a different style, like a sweet wine,
yeah.
or like a Chateau de Kemp, but made in Limpopo.
Do you understand?
Yeah. No, I do. You know what? I love it. So I love your determination. So it's like, just don't take no for an answer.
Never.
And respect your home. Like, you always want to go back home.
You always have to take it back home.
Yeah, that's why I'm here in Africa, because this is my original.
Yeah, and so basically, after completion of my national diploma, I also worked for Waterstone Wines as a winery in Stellenbosch, where I also got my experience. So basically, I was exposed to the cellar environment, the viticultural practices, the packaging process, overall every other process that is involved in winemaking up until the packaging of the final product.
Right.
Yes. And after that, I also still worked for Distell. I don't know if you know the company.
Of course I know Distell, actually.
Yeah.
I do. They represent Durbanville Hills Winery as well, right?
So I've been there as a laboratory analyst. I know they one of the largest wine producing companies in the world. And I also studied with Cape One Academy just to keep up my, get the learning going and keep myself motivated and, get the knowledge, everything I can grasp.
I love it. So let's cheers first, right? So I'm super excited about this. Cheers.
Thank you.
And it's not my first time having it. It's actually delicious. I ordered 3 bottles. I would order more, but I'm a girl on a budget living abroad. But I really like this wine because it's easy to drink.
It is.
It's very fruit forward. It reminds me of a California wine. What grapes are in this?
It's a Cabernet. It's a blend, basically. The vintage is 2017, and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Sangiovese, Marburg, and Rubinais. And you must know that the Sangiovese and the Marburg, they're basically actually the rare grapes to find, especially in South Africa. They're not as common as your Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh yeah, because Cabernet goes everywhere in the world. But yeah, so like that was an interesting. So like it's almost a Bordeaux blend until you throw in like the Sangiovese. And is there a reason that you picked the Sangiovese, or is it just like, did you just taste the blend and you're like how does it work when you're blending the wine? Are you like, this is it, or?
When you're blending, it's like an art. It's more like cooking. So basically, you just want to get a bit of everything that's good in the bottle. So each and every fruit character, anything else that stands out from that particular grape, it goes in the bottle to give you this beautiful blended wine.
I love it. I love it. I just love wine talk. I could speak out over this forever. But I have a couple questions. Like, how challenging is it for you? Or like, what's the biggest challenge? And does it have anything to do with being a woman or being black, or, you know, like, what are some of the challenges or the obstacles that you have to face?
To be honest, before I started, I thought the most challenge I'll have is to get people to buy my wine, because I thought, who's going to buy wine that is from a black woman, you know, especially in South Africa? And I was really wrong, because right now I have a whole lot of people that are rooting for my wine, that are really excited.
Oh my God, you know, I literally have chills behind that. I really do, because I feel like sometimes, as women especially, you know what, we usually self-doubt and we usually self-sabotage, and we usually say, who's going to want us, who's going to want something that we produce, you know what I mean? But it makes sense. We produce beautiful, beautiful babies. I mean, we give life, so whatever we produce, people should want it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, that's pretty cool. So, like, it's been well received in Stellenbosch?
It's been everyone through, I mean, I've sold wine throughout the country, you know. People call me and they're really excited about the wine. They want to try the wine. How much is it? And then I just courier the wine. You know, I've couriered wine to Limpopo. I mean, Limpopo is up there, top of the country. I've couriered wine there as well. So it just shows the kind of energy that is out there.
Oh, yeah.
And how much people are really, you know, they want to support, and most especially in the industry that is white dominated and male dominated and a very capital intensive industry. And I wanted to produce this bottle of wine. That is why, as you can see, it's written there, the lady born to inspire. And this is basically it's basically to inspire South Africans, you know, to become active role players in the wine industry, because I know how it feels to have a dream or even an interest but not know if it's possible, you know, like have those self-doubts, like, who's going to buy my wine? How am I going to even make wine? How am I going to even, because my final dream is basically to have my own winery where I can do everything.
Oh yeah, from beginning to end, right? I mean, I think that's so important though, like born to inspire, right? Because that's part of the thing about when you have your own business. So like this podcast is about everything. It's about travel. It's about entrepreneurship. And it definitely is about wine.
Empowerment. But
like empowerment, right? Because it's like we drink. I know I drink a lot of wine, right? And you know, but it's kind of cool to see you being an active part of like the ownership process, you know? And there's not that many people, even in America, of color, black people or colored people, who are making wine and who are reaping the benefits of like that direct sale, right? So I'm super proud of you.
Thank you
and
so much.
Young too.
Thank you. I'm really, I mean, I must say, this is the greatest time of my life. I'm living my dream, you know. There's nothing that can top this.
No, nothing at all. I mean, the only thing that could top this is just going to like all over the world and like selling your wine all over. At this point, I feel like that's the only thing that can top it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so speaking of travel, how do you feel about traveling? Have you traveled outside of the country yet?
I have not, but now that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm into wine, I have to get the world to taste my wine. I have to get the world to drink my wine, because my market does not end in South Africa.
No, it doesn't.
Definitely. So I have to start traveling now.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't. And trust me, when I go back to America, I am going to take a whole, maybe half case, because I have to make room for all the wine that I take, but I will definitely take a half case and just pass it around all of America.
Yeah.
There's some of my favorite people that I like to drink wine with, and they have like podcasts and businesses where they talk about like people in the wine. One of my favorites, for example, is Sakari Bowman. She has a website called Love and Vines and a podcast called The Color of Wine. And so she features people in the wine business. I'm going to tell her she needs to call you so you can be on her show. But I like it. I like when I find wines in South Africa that are made by people of color, like Tinashe's wine. I take them, and like if I make it to Atlanta, I like to share them with her because she can really appreciate not only the juice but also the process behind it, you know? So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm definitely taking some wine to America. You'll see your wine in Texas, in Atlanta, New York, Chicago.
Definitely.
And then hopefully we'll see you soon in America.
Soon.
Yeah.
I should be there.
So if you could travel anywhere out of the country, where do you think the first place would be?
I never really thought of it, but I would love I would love to see France.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to taste their wine and see what is the fuss about the wine.
Yeah.
Their wine in particular, you know. I still believe South Africa, we make great wine.
I mean, I honestly love South African wines. I think South Africa makes really great wines, but I just think the most interesting thing about, you know, wines from all over the world, whether it's France or America or South Africa, it's like wine just tells the story of that culture and that land, and, you know, I think that's probably the most special thing about wines in France, you know?
That's true.
Because they're telling that story and they have so much history, you know? I personally, and please don't comment and tell me all this crazy stuff, but I personally am not a big fan of French wines. And maybe it's because I don't order them because they're hard to pronounce. Like, you know, they're just so hard to say, French and Italian wines. So I kind of stay away from them if I'm at a restaurant. But even just still, the whole style of French wines, they're a little bit thin for me. They're a little bit too earthy for me.
Yeah.
I like my wines with a lot more fruit.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. But I've had people also say the same thing as you're saying. So I guess France.
All of our French counterparts, you know what, I love champagne.
Yeah.
Now I could drink champagne from anywhere in the Champagne region, anywhere in France. I can drink, you know, just Cremant, champagne all day long. Yes, from France, it's delicious. But I'm partial to bubbles sometimes. Yes. Okay. So what have you enjoyed most about this wine life? Like, what's something that you didn't realize was so amazing about this life that once you started really getting into this wine life, that you're like, wow, this is my lifestyle? Because that's how I look at it. I feel like when somebody drinks wine like us or makes wine like us, it's not just something that you do, it becomes like a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. I think for me, I've so far, I'm enjoying, you know, meeting different people and basically just talking about wine and just really understanding. It's amazing what perception people have about wine, especially in South Africa. I've spoken to a number of people trying to understand, do they drink wine? What do they look for when they buy a bottle of wine? And why do they choose wine over other beverages or vice versa? And it's really interesting, you know. And I found out that, I don't know if you know, but South Africa, we like the 7th largest wine producing country in the world. And so far, the wine industry is not doing so well locally, and they've resorted to actually exporting their wine. Well, and in a bulk way, but in terms of the economic fluctuations in etc, and then it becomes a problem for them as well. So now they happen to undersell the wine even though they still export, and then at the end of the day they're not making profit. I read somewhere that only 40% of the wine producers in South Africa make profit, and the rest cannot manage to make profit. And at the end of the day, the farmers, like the people that grow our grapes, they're forced to not produce anymore because they can't keep up with the costs that are associated with just producing.
And I think that's a problem all over the world for the most part. And that I forgot the saying. I wish I could remember the saying, but basically it's the saying that says that, you know, millionaires are the ones who buy vineyards. You know what I mean? Like, and if you want to be a millionaire, you don't buy a vineyard. Like, that's your play money, because it's so expensive, and that's what people don't understand. It's so expensive to make wine, just like really good wine, that is. It's awesome. They're burning their food. Like our neighbors are cooking. Yeah. Oh, might go really well with this wine. Okay. She's not going to enjoy. Do you think you can give us a plate? That would be perfect for the podcast, though, right? Like, we're doing a wine tasting. So actually, no, we're not going to eat because I'm super excited, because later we're going to this bar, restaurant called Mojitos, and you're having bottomless wine and like ribs or pizza. Yeah, so I'm super excited. So how did you work out the partnership with Mojito, and like, or not even Mojito, just other restaurants or bars that you might partner with? Do you do it yourself, or do you have like a whole sales team, or are you a one-man show? How does this work out?
At this moment, to be honest, you know, it might not look like it, but the first bottle I produced was released late in November. So it has not even been 6 months. And I'm also like the sole, I'm in it by myself. So I've been trying to run it by myself, and as time grows, if the brand grows and I can still get a few people that I'll be able to pay and then they can work with me. But at the moment I'm doing it all by myself.
So you're doing all the sales and marketing, all the distribution.
Yes.
I love it. She's like a one-woman show.
I'm just like there carrying a box like, hello, I'm here to deliver your wine.
Yeah, they're like, hello, the delivery person is like, I'm on my way in, just a moment. I love it.
Yeah, but places like Mojito, they really supportive people. I mean, they are excited about the idea of a young person, putting a step into the business world, putting a step into the wine industry. So they really,
I think it's
very,
good
very
too
supportive.
because I was listening to this SVB, they do this annual report and they were talking about like trends in wine, and they were talking about, so for millennials, the trend kind of goes up and it kind of goes down, and kind of goes up and it kind of spikes. But what was interesting is they did a survey and they found that millennials enjoy wine that's accompanied by experiences, right? So I think it's totally awesome what you're doing at Mojitos, having the unlimited wine with the food, because that's the best way to introduce wine to people, right? And then especially millennials, they love deals, and it's just so inventive. So I commend you for that.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Thank you. We'll see how it goes. It's been the first month now, so I mean tonight I'm expecting a very big show. I think tonight is gonna be great.
Yes.
All my friends are coming and everybody else like you're coming, so it's gonna be really great and we're gonna get drunk.
Yes, I'm definitely, and it's fine if I get drunk. I can walk home, so it's not like I have to drive. But like, I'm super excited. I can't wait. Like when I saw it, when you told me about it, somebody else had told me, but I didn't realize it was going to be your wines. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So usually I go to this one place for wine tasting on Wednesdays. And I was like, okay, if she's doing this every Wednesday, this might have to be my new wine Wednesday.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Why wine when you can have wine Wednesday?
Please wine about wine Wednesday. We can come up with so many different things about wine and Wednesday. And you know what? I could do wine on Tuesday too. Wine on Tuesday, wine on a Thursday.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Okay. So I have some quick fire questions for you. So these are like, no, they're not quick fire. They're like cozy corner questions. That's actually the name of them. So it's so cozy in here. And so I'm just going to ask some questions. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. She is ready. All right. All right. So when you drink, you get what? Happy, happier, because she's already super happy, right? Your favorite person to drink wine with is?
My friend Nola.
Oh gosh, is she your bestie?
She is. She drinks so
No,
much
is that the one that I met?
yes.
Okay.
The one that
she
didn't
gonna
want
be
to
there
do
tonight?
facials. Yes.
Oh yeah, I love her. She's such a diva. Wait till she sees this. Okay, so yeah, Nola. Okay, and what was her impression when you first like told her, hey, I'm gonna make my own wine? What did she say to you?
Oh, she supports the idea. Her mom also has her own wine brand. So
perfect.
Yeah.
So did you get a little bit of inspiration from her mom?
I did. Okay. I absolutely did. Her mom is a really wonderful woman. Her wine is named Tempe Wines. She's a very sophisticated, elegant, like someone you look up to and say,
right.
Do you know what? When I'm that age, like I should be like her when I'm that age.
I know. You know what? I say that all the time, and I'm really past that age. That I should have been that like 10 years ago, but I'm just like, whatever. Like,
And I mean, her brand is well established. She exports throughout the country. And I really love her. I wish she was not I wish she was.
I know what you mean.
I had 2 months
and you could have or you wish she was like your stepmom or like your second mom.
Oh, my friend. I should actually be friends with her mom instead of Nola.
Or your auntie friend. That's what we're gonna call her, auntie friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, your auntie friend. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's so important, but you do realize that that's who you are right now, right? So you're that auntie friend to so many young women who are like looking up and saying, what am I going to do in this life?
Yeah.
And they can go be a biotechnologist.
Yeah.
They could be a winemaker. Like, I mean, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're an entrepreneur. So you're that person already, whether you realize it or not.
That's what I want. I sincerely want somebody sitting somewhere in Limpopo or Mpumalanga or Eastern Cape
Or South Central Los Angeles.
do you know what I mean? To dream and just, do you know when you're just a child and you're asked what you want to do, and can we get that going, that a child can wake up and decide, I want to be a winemaker, and it's through people like me, my brain, that can inspire those,
of course.
you know, those young people. You don't have to wait 20 years later until you live in Stellenbosch or you live in Cape Town before you can dream about such things.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's so important. Okay, you prefer your wine?
I prefer my wine chilled, and I prefer my wine with some good food.
Oh yes.
And I love my wine with great company. I never drink alone because I want to drink and I want to talk.
Oh yes. It's like we're best friends already, right? I mean, I do drink alone sometimes because I can have some great conversations with myself. But, you know, I think that's so important. The company and wine is number one, and food, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we already answered this question, but given the opportunity, you would travel where for wine? Just for wine. If somebody said, here's an unlimited amount of money, you have to go there just for the wine. The wine experience.
Now that I've met you, I would love to go to California.
Oh gosh, you would love California.
Mm-hmm.
You would love, I mean, Santa Barbara County is my favorite wine region. I love Napa too. Napa is amazing. There's just so many.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sonoma is great. Yeah.
That would be really lovely.
Yes.
And I'll still love to experience France.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like, you know what, there's so many great wine regions, like, you can't just single them out, right? Because you have to go to Spain, you have to go to Portugal. Like, I want to go to all the wine regions. But you know what the problem is? I'm stuck in South Africa because I love South Africa.
South Africa is beautiful.
And it's addictive, though. It's honestly, and it's like you discover new things every single day. Every day.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a hard one. If you could give the world a gift, it would be?
If I could give the world a gift, I would give myself.
I love it. Okay, just wrap her up in a nice wine box and deliver
You know,
it to
I'll
the
give
world.
myself, and at this moment, to be honest, I'm giving myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to be people who are going to be inspired by me. There's going to be people who are going to be hired by me.
Yes.
And I'm also working towards starting a non-profit organization because I realized that I advertised a post that I wanted some promoters to work with. I did not think that I would get about 70 applications.
How
just
many?
for a promotion job.
70 or 17?
70.
Wow.
Just for a promo job.
Yeah.
And it just makes you realize just how many young people are out there without jobs in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that is really tragic. And I want to start a non-profit organization whereby I can assist these young people with skills development, career development, and try and empower them as much as I can. And with those that would really want to venture into the business world, and just give them a few tips and, you know, the do's and don'ts and everything else like that.
I love that. That's so important. And I mean, gosh, yeah, a little army of Siwelas. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely amazing. Okay, this is an easier one. Do you prefer beach, mountain, or forest?
I prefer the beach.
Oh gosh, me too. I'm such a water baby, right? The beach with a nice glass of sparkling wine and the ocean.
You know, and just relax.
And just relax.
Yes.
Listen to the ocean and just relax.
That's the best therapy.
Okay. People don't know that you are. What's something that people don't know about you?
People don't know that I don't always say what I want to say.
Oh wow, really?
Yes.
Now, what is it? Because you want to be nice? Is it because you don't want to hurt people's feelings, or like what is it? And are there times that you wish that you just would say what you want to say?
Yeah, I just don't want to fight. I don't want to quarrel. I don't want problems. I just don't want to fight. I don't want a problem. I'm a happy person and I love to keep it that way. So if it means I can avoid any conflict under, you know, in whatever way, I'll do it.
Okay.
Does not matter if you're wrong or I'm right or whatever. I just let it slide because I don't wanna be miserable.
You know what? I used to be that way too, but I don't know. I think there's a fine line between avoiding conflict and also saying no when you need to say no. You know what I mean?
I struggle with
sometimes,
that.
and that's a hard one though. And you're young, but you're gonna have to like learn that lesson that it's okay sometimes to just say, no, that doesn't work for me. That's what I say. No, it doesn't work for me, because how can somebody argue with something like that? Like if you say it doesn't work for me, what's their argument? Like, what's the argument?
You're right. I need to start saying it doesn't work for me, especially in the business world.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody's like, oh no, can we buy a bottle of wine for 20 rands? I'll just be like, no, it doesn't work.
That doesn't work for you. Or no, if somebody's like, oh, I live in Wellington, can you drop off 3 bottles of wine? No, that doesn't work for you. Like, it wouldn't be worth it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for 3 bottles.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's see. This is the last question. This is my favorite question. So I heard this on one of my favorite podcasts, and gosh, I think it was the Jesus and Jollof podcast, right, with Yvonne, Ori, and Lovey, and it was like they said, sometimes we want to give up, right? You want to stop because it's so hard, especially being an entrepreneur and having to do it on your own. But then you have to keep going, and so they said that one of the things that helped them keep going is. You do it for the people who believe in you.
Absolutely.
And who are some of the people who believe in you? Like, who are some of these people that you know for sure are rooting for you and you just don't want to let them down?
I have been really blessed. Even before I ventured fully into this, I've had people that did not even know me on my social media platforms like, why don't you just have your own wine? I've had friends that were like, why don't you just have your own wine? And most importantly, my mom.
Oh, nice.
I told my mom in 2012 that I wanted to have my own winery back at home, and guess what?
What did she say?
She held on to my dream. And every time I go back home, she would say, no, are you not? And she even acquired a land for me. She would say, are you not going to come to the land and see? Are you not going to come to the land and just feel more inspired? And are you not going to? But at the time, I've had my part whereby I was demotivated about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I always wondered, how will I even do it? But yeah, today I did it. So that's history. And she is very happy right now. She is so proud.
Oh gosh, she must be. I mean, like,
she can't stop bragging. Right? She can't stop bragging about it.
I know, she probably keeps a bottle of wine in her purse, and everywhere she goes, she's like, my daughter has her own wine. And look at it. Can you see this? I am so sure, because like, I'm very proud of you. And I just met you 3 weeks ago, and I am like extremely proud of you. Like, I'm inspired by you. I'm proud of you, and I think that you were just doing an amazing job. I just can't wait to see how this story takes off. I can't wait to talk to you next year, and things are even bigger and better. You have a team, and you're like, 20, I don't even have to deliver one anymore. I just put something in the computer, and my team just goes out.
I would love to see that.
Yes, yeah. I'm super excited. No, that is going to happen. Like,
absolutely.
I can't wait until next year when we talk, and like, all of this greatness is just happening.
It has to happen. I did not start this for it to fail.
No way. Okay, Siwela. So I know you have to get going because we are going to Mojitos for wine and for pizza, ribs. And so I'm super excited about this Cape Town life that I have. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for a great interview, and I really loved it. But before we go, let's quickly just say what Siwela means, because I know maybe some people might not.
That's great.
Yeah, so basically Siwela means crossing over.
Wow, I love it. So can you tell me how you came up with that name, or like how you came up with like why crossing over, or that your mom came up, because that's your actual name?
It's my first name. And to be honest with you, when I was sitting deciding what am I going to call my wine, I had a whole lot of list of names that I had in mind. Some of them were already registered because you have to trademark your name before, so that somebody else doesn't use it. But
right.
all of them were taken, the ones that I thought were going to be cool. Like, I had things like Black Diamonds, like Ubuntu, things that I thought people in South Africa would, connect with. And then I was like, I don't even know what to come up with anymore. I'm sitting there like, must I just name it after my mom? I'm like, what do I call this wine? And I'm like, Siwela, but it sounds really nice.
It does. Siwela sounds nice, and that's why when I met you, I think I asked I said, what's your name? You said Siwela. I said, no, your name, not the name of the wine. And you're like Siwela, and I was like, oh, it's the same thing, right? Because I think Siwela is perfect, and crossing over is like it was already ordained and like destined for you to have this wine. Because it's like you're crossing over into this new world, and
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
crossing over into this world that's like male, white dominated.
And that requires courage. That is why I always say, when you drink this wine, you get the taste of courage.
Oh gosh. Nice. You get the taste of courage. You can just cross over into things, and
You know?
yes. Siwela. So right now, really quickly too. So can you just tell us? I'm glad you reminded me of that. Telling people what the name is. Can you quickly tell us first of all, where can people buy the wine? And then can you tell us also how can people get in contact with you? Your social media handles, your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay, so the wine can be, you can get the wine on the website www.siwelawines.co.za, and you can get in contact with me throughout all the social media platforms at Siwela Wines. I'm always on my phone, and I always make it a point that I respond as soon as possible.
Nice. Okay, and so if you're in America and you want the wines, you know what? If you send me money, I will ship them to you, or I'll bring them when I come, all right? And I mean, and what I like about it too, it has a really great price point. So the price point is like your everyday wine. It's like if you go to the grocery store and you just want to pick up a bottle of wine, have it for dinner that night. In America, I call it the under 15 mark. Like that's my sweet spot between like $11 and $15. In South Africa, it's going to be a little bit different, but like with the shipping and all that, it's still going to be like $11, $15. So
for a good wine.
For a good wine. Yes. So you can go to her Instagram, and that's Siwela, Siwela. If you just type in Siwela wine, I'm sure you can just Google her, and you can find her on all the social media platforms. If you can't remember all of that, or if you have any more questions, you can click on the links that will be in the podcast notes, and you can find her in the podcast notes. You can click on the links and you can get in contact with her email, all of her information, her WhatsApp, so you can call and you can order wine. Gosh, yes, she's super easy to get in contact with.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience? This is your time.
Let's see. Okay. Well, I just want to send out my love to you all, and I hope you get to buy my wine, and you sip and you savor as you enjoy the taste of courage.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Siwela.
It's a pleasure.